welcome back to our Samurai Jack our final live stream for Samurai Jack, the series finale, where Jendi Tartakovsky personally went to each one of our houses and ripped our hearts out one by one.
For that, my our he was quick and thorough, but I still felt a connection there. I still felt like he cared.
Yes, as always, I'm Tom Master and Land Robot. Call me what you want. And with me today, I have
Dauntless, voice made for silent movies.
PC the Unicorn, a huge nerd who loved being on their laptop all day.
And Jinjo Bites, the lurker of Tumblr.
Yes. Anyways, so yeah, this is the series finale. We're going to talk about spoilers because oh my gosh, there was so much that goes on, and I think it's impossible to talk about any aspect of this episode without bringing up spoilers. I mean, even the beginning is a spoiler, so you know.
Yeah.
Just it's that kind of episode. Hey, Madeline, while I'm putting the stream up on Tumblr, you mind giving us a rundown?
I would be happy to. All right, so the episode opens up with a bunch of Jack's allies from previous episodes going on their televisions, and you can see a view of Aku's lair. They each have their own individual moment where they're shocked to see Aku. And the idea is that Aku has been away from all these people for years, for 50 years. He's been hiding out while Jack has been trying to. Jack has been presumably trying to kill him, but of course the truth was that his sword was missing this entire time. But this is the first time they've seen him in a long time. And after he shows up on the TV. And the old opening monologue from the earlier seasons plays with Mako's dialogue, and Aku appears afterwards to announce that he has captured Jack and plans to execute him on live television. He finally, there is a long joke where he can't figure out just what knife to kill him with, and finally he settles on Ashi, but the amount of time he took just trying to decide how to kill him, which apparently he hadn't thought this far ahead yet, gave Jack's allies enough time to swoop in and save him. Ashi is just about to take the first and last blow to take Jack's life when everyone swoops in, and by everyone I do mean everyone,
except for the Guardian.
Except for the Guardian, the blind, and we're gonna cover that in a minute because that makes me mad too. But no, the blind archers are there. Rothschild and his canine companions, the Ravers, the Woolies, the robots of Andromeda, a
whole bunch of characters who I
the jumping
remember,
monkeys,
the Monkey Man, yep, the Robo Samurai, the Scotsman, and all of his daughters, his many daughters. And that's not all. I think my favorite appearance was the Ravers. That was awesome. Just seeing them all on those like planes.
And weren't they riding on that big stupid like an army of those big stupid birds from earlier?
It was so good. It was my favorite.
I really liked seeing the Monkey Man again. I really liked that episode just because of how Jack pretty much learned how to jump good, and it was just really fun seeing them again.
Well, they all start attacking Aku, and they make for a good distraction. But he's just laughing them off. He doesn't even seem to care, and he's just laughing as he squashes a blind archer, and he turns an entire line of blind archers into little mini clones of Aku, which was terrifying.
Of course, it's them. Of course, it's them. Why wouldn't it be them? They were only taken over by him once before. It's like
I'm still confused about that. Originally they were only 3 blind archers, so where did all those other extra archers came from, and why do they all look exactly the same?
Well, I thought it was just like another species. You have a whole bunch of weird species.
I figured that they all did the do, and then they had little babies.
Yeah.
But then he starts. But then of course the collapse where the clones are created. They began attacking more of Jack's allies, and after then finally a new challenger, the samurai robot.
Okay,
I
now,
never saw that episode, but I busted out laughing when Aku was like, "Really, a giant stone samurai? Did it just punch him in the
who actually watched that episode? Because I can't
face?"
remember that episode.
I'm not sure that was an episode. I mean, that
It
could
No,
be.
was.
that was an episode.
It was an episode. Now I'm one of the more recent comers to the whole Samurai Jack thing because it was right
Oh, shoot.
around episode 6 of
Hey.
the like.
Oh shoot, we're not having.
What's going on?
Hello? Everything going good?
No, I think we lost Tom.
That's too bad.
Aku
Well, I
must
mean,
have killed him.
Yeah, man, it was Ashi all along. No, we'll just keep going, and I'm sure he'll jump back in when he's ready.
Yeah. So
So I think we were on the Giant Stone Samurai.
yes. So I'm one of the more recent Samurai Jack watchers. I joined in right around episode 6 of the new season. I previously had only caught them a couple times on Cartoon Network, but never really involved myself. And shout outs to a friend of mine for getting me back into this. So I ended up watching all Samurai Jack previous episodes
Oh my gosh,
and then up to the new ones.
that's amazing.
I Netflix and chilled it.
I'm really
But-
mad that it wasn't on Netflix.
It's not anymore. It used to be.
No.
But so yes, there was an episode where they did in fact bring out a giant stone samurai from, it was an underwater city to fight a gigantic robot.
Oh
And
my
those
gosh.
tiny little robots that were inside the samurai were the ones who asked Samurai Jack to help them out.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a big old Godzilla fight.
Hey, this happens every
back.
time. What happened?
Oh, we were just talking about the Giant Stone Samurai, and the episode he came from.
Crap.
So you missed the
Hey.
real tale.
Shoot. Here's the issue. Here's what just came up. Okay, of all of the computers that could have like died at that moment, it was mine.
Of course, naturally.
I don't know what happened. I don't know why it happened. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure you guys, all three of you, are just cut off because the only stream is coming from my computer.
It said that it was live.
It did say it was live.
Yeah.
Any of you guys have the video up?
I mean, no.
Yeah, I have the video up right now.
Was there like a cutout in the stream?
I'm not sure. I literally just got on the page.
Okay, so just in case, can you guys catch me up on what you guys just said?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So, it was the giant samurai robot actually came from a real episode. It came from there were some little mini robots under the sea that had asked for Jack's help, and then those were the ones who were piloting the giant stone samurai.
No, they weren't under the sea. They were in a city that was being terrorized and destroyed by a giant robot. And Samurai Jack originally came in with his sword, tried to cut it up. It was no use. So they were like, there's a giant stone samurai underneath the water you could totally use to help out. And that's where that comes from.
So they did Pacific Rim before Pacific Rim was even invented.
You know, that is exactly it. Yes, holy crap.
Okay. So while Aku is being distracted, Jack tries to free Ashi by being controlled. At first it seems impossible, but finally she fights and they manage to free her together. He actually jumps into her mast and
Through the power of love.
using the power of love and friendship, guys. And Jack actually does, he confesses that he loves her, and which gives Ashi enough power and strength, thanks to his love and all, to fight. Because apparently she could do that the entire time. All she needed was to hear that Jack loved her. So,
Yeah.
and then at that point, of course, Ashi confronts Aku and says that Aku isn't her father, and which is when Ashi realizes that she still has Aku's powers, and she basically just flips him the bird and says fuck this, and just totally just forgets fighting him at all, and just grabs Jack and takes him into the past.
Okay, quick one. Doesn't anyone else find it kind of real just how fast she kind of mastered her powers? Like she just mastered her newfound powers in literally 20
It's the
seconds.
power of love,
that
man. It's the
No,
power.
it's the power of love. Power of
that's
love,
not the
guys.
part that bothers me. The part that bothers me was that out of nowhere, it seemed like suddenly, oh wait, I'll just take the samurai back to the past.
I mean, yeah,
Like,
that's what I mean.
why
Like she
wasn't she
suddenly
fight?
know how to make a time portal.
I don't really mind either of those things. The thing that makes me frustrated is like seriously, I'm not kidding. What? She literally could have fought Aku, like the little shadow power surrounding her, the entire time. All she had to do was hear that Jack loved her. Really?
Yeah,
Talk
seriously.
I don't know.
Look,
freaking talk about
I
lazy.
look. I love cheesy romances as much as the next. I mean, I really do love cheesy romances, but that was too cheesy even for me.
It wasn't for
I,
me. To be completely honest, I kind of love that cliche. I mean, I know it's a cliche, but I kind of loved it, especially when they played it out. And I
I
know
It
it's
just seems
cheesy.
I don't really mind that it's cheesy. It just seems like kind of a dick move to me.
it doesn't
Like she was
seem like
holding
she.
back in some way up until that point.
It
No,
doesn't
I
seem to
don't.
me like she got. Sorry, it doesn't seem to me like she got her powers through the power of love. It seems to me like she got her powers because Aku took over her whole body
Mm.
using those powers, and then when she retracted, she retained a lot of it.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Well, so let's go. Let's all have a flashback back into the past when Samurai Jack is fighting Aku, and before the last blow is struck, he flings the samurai back into the past. Oh wait, you're back already?
That's how time travel works.
And then Jack
Oh
starts.
wait, no. The best line was from I don't think she's your type, laddie.
No, oh my gosh, we totally skipped over that part. Oh
Yeah, I
no,
love
that
how the
was awesome.
Scotsman actually offered Jack one of his daughter when he was like said no. You like what? You think you too good for one of my daughters?
No, I met someone.
Oh, really, laddie?
That was-
Who? Oh, I don't think
your
she's your type.
That's really good. Oh, that was awesome. That was a really good line.
You know, I mean, that's what I'm really sad about. I really wish we could have gotten the Scotsman and Samurai Jack some more interaction. Season 5, I love their interaction.
Yeah,
I know, me too.
And rewatching through all of the previous Samurai Jack as I did, my favorite episodes were always the ones involving the Scotsman.
Yeah, I know.
He is
literally
a
the best
character.
He's such a big lovable log. I love
I
him.
know.
Although, if they really wanted to defeat Aku, they should have gotten his wife and just had Aku call her fat.
I know, seriously. Where did she go?
I didn't want to know how she was able to push out 50 kids.
Because, well, if you ask the Scotsman, it's because she's beautiful and smart and amazing and wonderful and perfect and an angel.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
That's one way to describe her.
No, all the Tumblr posts told me exactly why. Extra thick.
With 2 C's.
Yes.
So Jack starts fighting Aku and slashing and hacking and slashing and whacking and hashing and slashing and whacking. And
I get it.
Yay. Good.
A moment of silence for one of the best cartoon villains of all time.
May he forever rot in the pits of hell.
Oh no.
So Samurai Jack and Ashi are fighting Aku, and finally he slashes Aku over and over again. Before long, he gets every last bit, even though there's a little tiny bit of Aku trying to get away, and Aku is formed around Jack's sword. At which point Jack thrusts the sword into the ground and destroys Aku's tower, but not before Jack and Ashi escape. Now, this is, I feel like, a a lesson. I feel like there was actually a moral lesson here, guys. We aren't quite at the end yet, but I want to make it clear that if you should take anything out of the episode, please take this. If you have the opportunity to have sex with the woman you love, take it, because if you don't, she might die just like right down the aisle.
Okay,
And-
Keely, did anyone? Okay, okay, I was like, hold on a second. Shouldn't Ashi be disappearing right now? If Aku was killed, that means Ashi would never have been born. And then just as I was thinking that, the show pulls a Gurren Lagann.
Listen.
Well, I mean, I would have said that they pulled a Moulin Rouge or a Josh Whedon. So
I mean, like the wiki says they had years, but I mean, I think we can all agree it was probably shorter than that. Honestly, they probably had at least a day.
There's no way she could have
probably should have
lasted
taken their
that
opportunity
long.
while they had it.
And
Here lies Jack. He never scored.
I know.
the worst part of it is
you beautiful bastard.
that leaves Samurai Jack stuck in a time paradox.
How so?
Well, because if Ashi was never born, then she could never send him back to the past to defeat
Exactly,
Aku.
I was
But then
thinking the
Aku
same
would be
thing.
alive, and then Ashi would be alive, and she'd be able to send Samurai Jack back into the past with, oh no, I've gone cross-eyed.
Well, you
Exactly,
see,
I was thinking the same thing last night.
and that's why we're all gonna have a chance to rewrite and or have a new epilogue after this episode, because it's time travel and it doesn't make sense.
Time travel. I don't know. It's like I've actively attempted to write time travel stuff before. I've pretty much given up on trying to use any type of logic with it. I usually go for the campier stuff anyway, so
I think the only one who ever wrote time travel successfully was My Little Pony, and that's only because they went back 1 week for a couple minutes and didn't affect anything.
What about
Right.
Back to the Future?
No, they did not do time travel. There were so many plot holes in that.
Well, wait, that's one of the most iconic time travel movies of all time.
It's very good. Everyone's watched it, but there were lots of plot holes.
Like how?
I let me link you the cracked article. Now, if there's any time travel movie you have to see, you gotta see Time Lapse. It's an indie movie, but it's just amazing. It's really good. They have the entire premise is a bunch of roommates find they're in charge of an apartment complex, find find that one of the tenants has been missing for several days. And so they go to investigate and find a camera that takes a picture of the future. And it's bolted to the ground, and then the story unfolds from there. It's really, really good. They did time travel really well.
And what was it called?
It's called Time Lapse.
Okay, so outside of the time paradox, though, the thing was, I can also appreciate this ending because were this still on Cartoon Network, we would have had that forced happy ending because it's a kid's show.
Yeah.
All things have to end with happy and rainbows and butterflies everywhere.
Yeah, and I don't think this revival would have been nowhere near as good if it was aired on Cartoon Network. I mean, look at what they did to the reboots of Teen Titans and Powerpuff Girls.
Right.
Well, I mean, even excluding those,
I'd like to argue that point actually, because the fact of the matter is that Jendy Tartakovsky, he actually he was the one who wanted to revive it after Hotel Transylvania 2. I'm getting this all from an interview I listened to this morning.
Oh yeah.
He actually went out of his way to call Cartoon Network back and ask him if it might be a good time to restart Samurai Jack again so he can end it. There's been a film of Samurai Jack that's been in production hell forever. Eventually they gave up on that film and they basically
Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. My grandma calling me.
Okay.
They basically turned that film into the into this revival that we've been seeing that we're currently seeing.
Okay, so excluding Cartoon Network's current doings, I would still say that it was better on Adult Swim because, again, I recently watched all previous episodes to catch myself up before watching this new stuff. And because it was a children's cartoon on a children's network, they made Samurai Jack seem pretty invincible.
Hey guys, I'm
Now,
back.
now near the beginning, they were constantly scratching him up and whatever else, and I think it's because they were still testing new waters with it. But as the show went on, he received less and less physical damage. Yeah, his gi would always get torn off because I think Mr. Tartakovsky has a thing for half-naked samurais.
No, but
Don't
who
we all?
doesn't? We all do.
Come on,
but
we
guys,
need that. We need that. I'm a man, pretty.
but guys, okay, with Samurai Jack come back, I still haven't finished watching it, but I am hoping and praying that with Samurai Jack being so successful, that Symbionic Titan finally will turn and have a proper ending too. I still need to finish watching that show, but I'll pray that it comes back also.
Yeah, that show came on at an unfortunate time with me. I did not have cable at that time.
I
So-
definitely did not watch that show either.
Yeah, I couldn't watch a show, and I'm told it's really good, but I still haven't watched it yet. It's not like it's on the Cartoon Network website or anything.
Yeah.
It's almost like they want us to pirate it.
Yeah, like I mentioned in my video on my channel, do networks treat their TV shows and creators with respect? When I was doing research for it, like one of the reasons why Symbionic Titan and the new Thundercat show was canceled at the time was because they weren't making enough money in Toei's production.
Blah. Because that was the reason they pushed the new Powerpuff Girls so hard. They didn't bother showing these. By the way, they didn't bother showing the new voice actors to like people or whatever else. They ended up showing these new voice actors for the new Powerpuff Girls to their investors first. Shows where Cartoon Network's mind currently is, and why people are upset with them. But anyway, though, we're getting off topic here.
One more quick thing. Like, even though both shows suck, Teen Titan Go have technically been more successful because the Powerpuff Girls reboot totally flopped. They don't even air reruns anymore.
Well, the only reason Teen Titans Go is
so. You mean they canceled it? Did they really cancel it?
I mean, it's not canceled, but they pretty much never advertise it. They basically never air reruns, and apparently now they're airing new episodes of it at like 9 a.m. on Sunday morning. So I have a feeling that the show is slowly dying.
Okay, please. Craig McCracken doesn't even like it.
Yeah,
well, because he's not involved with it. Never was.
Dear God, we have a cartoonless Craig McCracken right now. They canceled Wander Frickin' Over Yonder right as the Samurai Jack, right as the Powerpuff Girl reboot, and this just feels wrong, doesn't it?
And here's a really messed up thing about the Powerpuff Girl reboot. One, the creator of that reboot said that Craig McCracken gave him his blessing. When Craig said that was never the case, he deleted that tweet off of his Twitter. And two, I'm disappointed in this man because he made freaking Yin Yang Yo, and Yin Yang Yo was awesome.
Hey guys, the Cartoon Critic is bringing up a interesting thought. His comment is it wrong to make a kid's cartoon more adult when it gets revived since the season was a continuation and the rest of the show is for kids?
It is not wrong. However,
say that was wrong.
However, try bringing that up to investors or anyone who's actually trying to put a children's cartoon on television nowadays. They tend to keep things pretty safe unless you're Disney. Disney's the only one who tends to jump into the dangerous waters, mostly because they have the money to do so, and if something flops, they have other things to drop back on.
Well, that's not necessarily true, is it? I mean, Disney is pretty notoriously conservative Christian based. Cartoon Network has had plenty of really risky ventures.
I raise you on Michael Bay. Just with Transformers and the dick jokes and all this other stuff. Clearly, investors are perfectly fine with the idea, so long as it can print money.
And you know those movies have never actually done like that well. Like yeah, they're successful, but they're not like box office hits. And it's mostly
Yeah.
because they tend to release during a slow schedule time.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's like,
the Transformer
what do you want to
movies.
watch?
Oh,
I don't
so-
know what's out. I think there's Transformers and not much else. Well,
So they're like,
Yeah.
what's it called? So they're like Johnny testing that type of stuff.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I really hate out of all the movies, I hate the fourth one the most because there are so many plot holes that make zero sense at all, mainly as to why the humans are hunting the Transformers. Like, what happened to the treaty? How are people like? There are so many plot holes in that movie, it makes no sense.
I stopped watching after the first one. I have no faith in Michael Bay.
I stopped watching after the second one. I did kind of like the first one, and I will admit that, but it's not something you can keep milking and still keep getting good content out of.
So, hey guys, did you know that there's an ancient Chinese legend that links the ladybug with love? The story goes that when a ladybug comes to call, it's a sign that true love will also pay us a visit. Further renditions of legends state the number of spots on the ladybug indicate the number of months that will pass until we are reunited with our true love. This may, and the wiki says that this may hint that Ashi and Jack may see each other in another life.
Oh, that's interesting. Although,
That may be
question, like,
interesting.
okay, this is actually
Look, am I going to have to?
Okay, so this is a really good question. I'm not sure if this is still the case. Like, we know Jack wasn't aging like in the future due to being exposed to the time portal. Now he's back in his current time. So will he age normally or is he still like slowly aging?
Hey, PC, you're
Yep.
going in and out.
Yeah, we can't really hear you.
Hold on.
No,
Yeah.
that's way better.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. What I was saying was like we know Jack 50 years have passed, blah blah blah. He does not age. Now that he's back in his own time, is he going to age normally or is he still aging slowly due to the exposure of the time code?
And now we come to the final question. My favorite part. What happens after the last episode? Will
Okay,
Jack keep
okay,
up?
okay.
Will Jack start aging or will he stay the same? Will Ashi come back? Will we see the Guardian?
Can I go first with this? Can I
Go
go
ahead.
first with this?
Go.
Dear God, I'm not even like a fan fiction writer or anything, but I woke up in a cold sweat at 2:00 in the morning last night to write my own fan fiction on Tumblr.
Buddy, you and I are like connected because we both apparently woke up at the same time. You woke up at 2 a.m. I woke up at 1 a.m. That's our time zones, buddy. We are one.
Yeah,
Well, that depends. Did you two encounter any ladybugs during that time?
I don't recall any ladybugs.
Aw.
Speaking,
No, I was
speaking
watching
of
Miraculous Ladybug in the new tab, and now that's the thing.
now, see, here's the thing. When that episode ends, like episode 4, after Jack and Ashi escaped from that war monster and a ladybug landed like on her finger in that episode, I made a joke on Tumblr saying something like, Ashi discovering the beauty of the world. I guess you could say that was very, and then I post a picture of Miraculous Ladybug.
Anyways,
Tom,
oh.
what were you? But tell me your fan fiction.
Okay. Anyways, fan fiction time because this is what you guys all want to hear. A 22-year-old fan fiction for a cartoon he watches.
It's true. I do.
Okay, so picture this. Samurai Jack, after all this time travel, as it turns out, he still doesn't age. Because there's nothing in the episode that explicitly says that he ages normally again. So he continues on through life, basically doing what he's been doing his entire life, helping out people in need and protecting those who need it. He travels the world. He becomes a nomad, or rather, he continues to be a nomad after after all these years. He finds he comes across a few familiar faces. He sees people who, even though they technically haven't, even though he technically hasn't met them yet in this time stream, he sees people, he meets people like the Scotsman again, who feel a connection to him anyways and welcome him with open arms. And he continues on his adventures. Evil has not quite left the world just because Aku is gone. So there's always people in need. At some point in the future, centuries will go by. Jack will have grown yet another beard, silky smooth, as a reminder of the one thing that he regrets. His regret is, of course, Ashi dying and all that sad stuff. He will come across a familiar yet unfamiliar path in a robot graveyard that was never touched by his sandals, yet this is a place that he has been twice before. He will be approached by the Guardian guarding the time portal, and before they battle, he will ask, "Where is Ashi?" That is what I think happens at the end.
Okay.
Ooh, that sounds really good. Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, the Guardian isn't even dead anymore because Aku's dead. So,
well, no, that would make sense. That would actually, okay. I raise you one logic. I think that makes a lot of sense because the Guardian, who killed the Guardian? It couldn't have been Aku. I guess it could have. I mean, if Jinji says, "Hey, Aku killed this guy," fine. It doesn't make a lot of sense, and it's kind of a cop out, but sure. It couldn't have been Jack. Jack didn't do it. So who killed the Guardian? How cool would it have been that the Guardian is implied to be dead because Jack killed him in another timeline.
Oh, that'd be weird.
That'd be
cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Me too.
Well, okay. So why can't?
It's already written, Cartoon Critic. It's on my Tumblr. It's like really short.
So why can't we say Aku killed the Guardian?
Well, it's just kind of pop out because the Aku would have been presumed to already have fought the Guardian, and the way the Guardian was talking, it sounded like it was supposed to be a man, not some man who was destined to defeat him, and it just seems like kind of a cop out.
Really.
Okay, I went through that.
However, if you got unsatisfying with the TV show ending, like, did anyone else read the IDW comics of Samurai Jack?
Not yet.
No.
Tell me.
Oh, really? I'm the only one here who actually read the IDW comics.
I don't care about IDW, but I care about them when you say them. You read them, but we don't have to. Tell me more.
Okay, so I read them online, and I really like the final ending in issue 20. Basically, it takes place decades later, and there's this scribe who's trying to write a story because he's been hearing all these rumors of the legendary warrior Samurai Jack. And at first he get a bunch of fake stories or exaggerated tales, and he just gets more and more frustrated until he actually runs into a person who had met Jack and actually know where he's at. So he takes the scribe to Jack, and when he arrives there, just kind of in the show, only different, you see all of Jack's old friends, like the Woolies, the Monkey Man, the Thief, the Scotsman, the dog, all of Jack's allies there. And as he waits to talk to Jack, he hears all of their stories and writes down every single one of them until he finally meets Jack. And when he meets Jack, Jack explained how for so long he have tried to go back to the past to stop Aku evil, but have realized there's no point in going to the past to stop him, but they can stop him in the present and end his reign of the future once and for all. And apparently they've been planning this for a while and finally figure out the location of where his tower will teleport at. So then the issue ends with like Jack and all of his friends charging the castle, and the text says something like, "The story may end, but the legend will never die."
Alternate ending.
Indeed.
What do you guys think of that ending? Personally, I kind of like it a bit more, especially since it means all of Jack's friends wasn't erased from time.
No, I like the current ending way more because it's an actual ending. That implies that the story is just that nothing has changed.
No,
It's
because
not.
it's pretty much implied that Jack defeats Aku. Like, we may not
It's
see,
not.
but
It's yeah, but it's not though. Like you could easily take that and just say, yeah, that really happened, and then a lot of them died, and then Jack lost his sword and started wandering, and finally, at the end, you see what I mean? It could be. It's just like any other Samurai Jack episode, and it could be. I mean,
Yep.
it's just like status quo.
Yeah.
I don't.
So that's my
I
main
mean,
beef with that.
personally, I really like the ending. But one of the things I liked about both ending was it ended exactly the way it always went. I remember watching the show all the way back when I was young, and I remember always thinking to myself, man, wouldn't it be so cool if when Jack fought Aku, all of the friends and all the people Jack have helped along the way all came together and helped Jack fight a coup, and it happened in both mediums.
Yep, I agree. That's good.
Yeah.
So
What do you guys think?
Okay,
I like
Well.
the idea of
Uh,
Jack just sort of being alive for centuries. I like the idea of him meeting up with the Scotsman again and meeting up with the Guardian. Um, I just think that would be really damn cool. And I also like the idea of how aliens would come to Earth. Because clearly there are still aliens out there. Aku was inviting these literal aliens, these immigrants to Earth so that he could take advantage of them. Sure, but they're still out there, and I'm sure they'll come to Earth at some point. And so I think it would be interesting to kind of imagine how Jack would deal with that sort of thing.
the Samurai Jack episode of Cartoon Network Invaded.
oh, I remember that event, the alien. Man, I kind of miss the time when they used to air new episodes of cartoons just on Friday. Like, just some, I mean, I know they show new episodes of cartoon basically any day, but there was just something really special about watching a new episode of a cartoon on Friday night. It was the end of the school week. You came home, made sure all your stuff was ready. You would plop in at the TV at a certain time, have your popcorn or any other snacks ready, and then sit back, relax, and watch the new episodes.
I just every, it was the Cartoon Friday theme song and tune that always made that special for me.
Cartoon.
Yes.
Oh, I remember.
the tunes.
Although I
Okay.
remember, although this was back before DVR, and I remember always being conflicted when new episodes of two shows that I both really loved was airing at the same time. I hated when that happened.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
and if
yeah,
you
I
missed it for a
never.
week because you had to go to your grandma's house, well, you're SOL then. Guess you had to fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, because we're talking about Cartoon Fridays, I'd like to bring up this gives me a good. It's a little bit of a tangential, I'm sure, but the cartoon critic he asked us what we think of the theory that Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Laboratory, and Samurai Jack all take place in the same universe.
And personally, I don't believe it for a number of reasons, especially since there was like this comic book event like last year, and with like, oh, all the cartoon show universes kind of collided. Like, there was this axis of evil of the omniverse, Vilgax, Aku, Mojo, Jojo, and Mandoc, and they ended up capturing the original Powerpuff Girls, Dexter from Dexter Laboratory, Omniverse Span, and Samurai Jack, along with Ed, and Eddie, because they ended up getting stuck on the ship by mistake.
Okay, sure, but I don't know. Like every time I look at the old cartoons and even some of the newer ones, I can't help but keep seeing an oddly consistent series of story events, things that are just so weird but oddly consistent between shows.
Like
the
what?
presence, the presence of imaginary friends, tulpas, characters who if a kid believes in hard enough will eventually become real. Obviously, we have Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends as a good example of that. But we also have characters like, say, Kusi from Dexter's Laboratory, and in the case of the Powerpuff Girls, there was an entire episode that I forget about it, but it featured imaginary friends and a character named Mike. I forget what the imaginary friends character.
I have like a dozen questions about imaginary friend and the whole concept. Like, can like just anyone create an imaginary friend? Like, do they
Oh, yeah.
technically have souls? Like, why do they need to eat? Can imaginary friends technically ever die since they're made from someone dark? Isn't it kind of messed up how they're all abandoned at this place and then they're
Well, here's
just
the
given
thing.
to any random kid and they don't have any say in the matter?
Oh,
Like, there's
I
like a
agree. Yeah.
Here's the
No,
here's
it's I always thought that that the imaginary friend died when the person who created them died, though.
okay, but what
exactly
if
that
they
what I
didn't?
figured.
But
And
what
I
if they?
feel like there was literally no limit to what a person could imagine since there was that whole episode in which like Aguada act entered that like underground imaginary friend fighting world. So like couldn't they have used imaginary friends to fight war? Like couldn't someone have just imagined a giant dragon and like rob a bank or something? Like
All right, picture this, PC. Okay, imagine this. Say the imaginary friends don't die. Yeah, they eventually, even as humans slowly dwindle into a endangered species, because imaginary friends can't die. They continue on populating the world. The world gets progressively weirder. Eventually, we get the amazing world of Gumball, and then after that, we get Marzipan City from Chowder.
oh, oh. That actually would make kind of sense. Although here's another. Can imaginary friends even imagine imaginary friends? And can those imaginary friends imagine
No,
other
they can't.
imaginary friends?
No. It was determined that only humans could do that.
Okay, but again, like if humans can literally imagine these creatures to do anything, they can have them breathe fire.
No,
They can
they
give them.
already no, they was already decided. No, they was determined that only humans can create imaginary friends.
No, I get that, but like you have imagining friends with like superpowers and able to breathe fire and flying and stuff. Like if something like that actually ended up, if something like that could actually happen in the real world, like that thing could be used for for like warfare. Like a kid could like imagine a giant dragon and then just set the entire city on fire. Like it's actually really dark and a lot of holes in logic if you really think about it hard enough.
Okay,
should
guys, I
write-
guess it's time for us to write a story.
Oh yeah, go on.
The imaginary worlds in which humans create imaginary friends to conquer other people's lands, and
Okay.
those who they'll imagine a creature is executed.
Okay, PC, I want you to write that webcomic. I'm sure it'll be a blast. And what's it called?
Okay, but guys, like, okay, so from the ending that I told you, like, I got it up, and this is exactly what Jack says in a comic I was talking about. He said, when I began my quest many years ago, I thought that if I could return to the past, it would make everything right. I was wrong. The past is an ideal we can never recapture. We must always look ahead, learning from what has been, but not letting ourselves be controlled by it. Like, what do you guys think of the ending I told about in the comic? Like in the comic, he's even wearing that getup that he was wearing at the end of the Guardian episode with the crown and the cape.
I really like the moral of the story, and I like the idea of the story. I just don't like the execution of it. I like the execution of this ending a lot better. I at least in this ending, it feels like there's some sort of a change, something has happened, and it feels like an ending. And in that ending, it just feels like another episode. It doesn't feel like very much of an ending at all. There's no end to the arc. There's no real character development. But I like the idea of it.
I mean, I kind of argue that there is development because Jack realized after so long that there's no point in returning to the past, but he realized he can still make a difference by saving everyone from the evilness of Aku by staying in the present and defeating him. And I kind of have a headcanon that after he beats Aku, maybe he kind of like becomes a new king or emperor of the planet. Like, I could see that happening personally.
Oh,
sure. I mean, personally, my favorite ending is the fan fiction ending I wrote. Personally,
me too.
I'm a little biased. I'm a little biased and I'm a little narcissistic, so whatever. JBK, are you still there? We haven't actually heard you speak. I'm not sure if we're having technical difficulties or if you just took a step back.
I took a step back and was kind of listening. There were a couple of points that I wanted to make in there, and I specifically put them in the chat so that I would remember here. First point about the time thing and how Samurai Jack spent 50 years, not aging. In the final episode, there was that really old dog, really, really old dog.
Even older in dog years.
Yeah, I saw that dog and I went, how are you still alive? Dogs live like a maximum of 20 years at best.
He's an imaginary friend.
He was an A.
Explain all his children. He had 20 small dog children who all looked exactly the same, by the way.
Well, clearly,
Clones.
he is a mutant. He is a mutant who was mutated, who is an imaginary friend mutated by the mushroom bomb that dropped during the Great Mushroom War.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, this totally makes sense to people who don't watch a lot of Cartoon Network. Totally, completely.
I do wonder who would win in a fight, the Lynch or Aku?
The Lich, you mean?
I think Aku.
Okay,
Yeah,
second.
for sure.
Okay.
The big, that's just me, but what's called the Lich from Adventure Time. He seems like a demon. He doesn't seem he's a wizard. He's a character who was once mortal who became immortal through magical means. Aku is a straight up eldritch Lovecraftian elder god type deal going on with him. I think he's a little bit more powerful, but that's just me. I'm willing to hear everyone else's arguments for that, but personally, I think Aku is the more powerful character. Are you going death battle on this?
No, it's just kind of a question. It's just what is that dog still doing there? Oh, okay, we're moving on.
But JK, it's JK, right? Is it JK?
What, Jake?
Oh yeah, what do you think of the ending of the Samurai Jack comic I just said? What do you think of it?
You know what? I was perfectly content with either ending. Solely because I watched through the old stuff entirely, and the old stuff ended on Samurai Jack taking care of a baby. That was the premise. That was the episode that season 4 ended on. And it's that answered nothing. It was a completely pointless episode. It did nothing for the series as a whole. Any ending would satisfy at this point. So I don't know how many years it took season 5 to come out, but my God, Samurai Jack needed a better closer for sure.
What happened to the baby?
It was fine.
Okay.
I remember when I first found the comic, holy cow, there was Samurai Jack comic, and I'm like, oh, okay, so that's how the story ends. That's actually a pretty cool ending. At least I had and one more thing about the comic, the show had a bunch of familiar characters, but so did the comic. They actually included some that weren't even shown in the episode. Somehow they had the those space people, that the astronauts from that other planet appear on the issue. That thief that Jack ran into in a maze, the Valkyries, the Shaolin monks, the scientist who made Jack that robot arm.
I'm gonna talk. Hey, JBK, what do you think happens after the series? JBK, Jinzo. I got your name
God damn
right.
it.
I am
No,
so
you did.
sorry.
You did Jinzo again. Jinjo.
Jinjo.
Have you ever played? You know what? Have you ever played Banjo Kazooie or Banjo Tooie?
No,
No.
Ah,
I
there were
am
little
so
creatures
sorry.
you had to collect called Jinjos, and it's like that's how you could have remembered, but you know, you're stuck in Yu-Gi-Oh, so whatever.
I am so sorry, Jinjo.
Hey,
I am
Jen.
so sorry,
Hey,
Jin.
Jen.
Yeah, you think I can just call you Jin?
Hey,
I
Jen.
am not a rum.
What?
Why
Hey,
is the
Jen
rum
Rummy.
gone? So how do
Okay.
I think it ends? I haven't really thought too much about it.
Say that again. Okay, you're back.
Yeah, I guess I haven't really thought too much about what goes forward because it's like this is a show that ended, and outside of Gravity Falls, we haven't had too many shows that actually end on a proper note.
Yeah, that's completely true.
That is accurate.
So it's kind of hard to think what goes next when, in all honesty, so many shows never end properly that you're always thinking about what happens next. So when a show actually ends, it's like, oh, that's it. That's the end of that.
I'm just glad that it got an ending. I'm with you.
Yeah,
this was a good
especially
one.
since where season 4 ended was just no.
Well, yeah, no, like you know what, we all sort of talked about our favorite endings, how we thought it could have ended better, what we thought happened after the
Okay.
ending. Was there anything else we want to talk about before this stream ends?
Just the
Yes. Okay. If you guys don't mind. Okay. Now here's the thing that I kind of think made the show kind of weak, in my opinion, and it was the whole romance subplot between Jack and Ashley. Now, don't get me wrong. I wasn't exactly against the idea of a romance, and I don't mind them being a couple, but it kind of like distracted from like the overall plot, because I'm mentioning that in the Samurai Jack season 5 review I was typing earlier, like how the first 5, like basically the first 6 episodes were perfect, but when they started focusing on Jack and Ashley romance, it kind of like slowed down the pacing, and there was still so many plot threads. Like, for example, instead of focusing on the romance, they could have like met up with the Scotsman early and then recruited, because while the battle in the finale was cool, it was really was. And like, even though it may have been like about a day, because who knows, it kind of unclear. It seemed like it was really only 5 minutes, so there was no way all of Jack's allies should have possibly been there that fast. But like, if they had, in which they met like the Scotsman early on and then assembled the army, it would have made more sense. And then there was a bunch of other plot threads that needed to be resolved, like the Guardian. That was
Yeah.
never solved, which could have been solved if they didn't focus so much on Jack and Ashi. Again, I think that Jack and Ashi woman kind of ruined the last couple of episodes, since it was focusing more on the romance instead of the story. Plus, there was that whole Scaramouche, because like, I loved him. He was a great character, but I didn't expect to see him again. Yet they bring him back, and then he just dies in the next episode. And yeah, he told Aku about it, but there was definitely some other way Aku could have learned that Jack had lost his soul, and instead of switching back to Scaramouche, we could have seen Ashi interact with a couple of more Jack friends, like the flying monkeys or the Spartans or the frogs.
No, I disagree really strongly.
Yeah. Okay, for me.
Okay, but what was really slow was Ashi interacting with all of Jack's friends. Like
Well,
that
that
was
was the
such a
best
slow.
part.
No, it wasn't. That was
Yes, it
so.
was. It was
Okay, no,
so
no, no. Hang
cool
on, hang
seeing
on. No,
all.
you had your
Okay.
chance to talk. Give me a second.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just let people one at a time, guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just. I mean, it's. I understand that you feel that way, but just because you feel that way, it doesn't make it true. And I don't. I don't agree with you. So I'm going to tell you why I don't agree. I feel like it was extremely slow when she was talking with all of Jack's friends. I think there were way more interesting things that could have happened. I actually liked the Scaramouche arc because there was there was a legitimate beginning, a middle, and an end where Scaramouche was slowly being destroyed, and then he would have to find another body. It was really funny. There was a lot of humor there, and it was really really well written. His lines were well written. The way he was interacting with other characters was very well written, and it felt like a Samurai Jack episode, which you didn't get a lot of. You know, you really didn't get a lot of Jack talking to other characters or other characters interacting with characters like legitimately. It was mainly a lot of fighting in the beginning. When Jack finally had someone to interact with and talk with, I feel like it really helped the series because we really didn't get to see a lot of his personality until episode 3. And I feel like we really missed out on that. It was
Okay.
nice. It was nice having someone for Jack to interact with, and Ashi really played that part well. And it was even better just that we liked her so much. We knew about her past, and she was a new character that we enjoyed watching and that we wanted to follow. And I don't know about you, but I legitimately felt like she had a chance of defeating Jack. So I liked all these characters who had really good arcs, really good beginning, middle, and ends.
Okay.
And I feel like that, and honestly, just for rehashing the old characters over and over again, not even have anything interesting for them to say. Just, oh yeah, here are the Wookiees or whatever, you know, here are the Woolies, and like they're kind of there and they have a shrine, you know. Okay, well let's go on to the next thing. It was really slow.
Okay, I think both of you have pretty fair points, but I'm going to disagree with both of you here, if that's okay. The thing with me is um I think both the romance and that specific episode where Ashi is meeting up with all the people who met Jack in the past, because I do think that served a purpose. That did serve a purpose in my mind. I think what the show really could have benefited from is 5 more episodes.
Yes. That was my
Like I
other issue.
I think this entire it's kind of. Do you guys recall the we had Gravity Falls. You recall the second season of Gravity Falls where it felt really rushed towards the end. I think it's really hard to keep I think it's really hard just in general for a lot of storytellers running these serialized cartoons to fit to tie up all these loose ends in in what is basically about 10 episodes. It's the same issue that came up with Gravity Falls towards the end of the series, and it's the issue we're seeing here. I would have liked to see I personally would have liked to see a little bit more if they were going to go down that Samurai Jack and Ashi romantic route, which I'm against that. I did not like the idea of that ship in the first place, but I do like seeing Jack and Ashi happy.
Yeah,
I would have liked to see a few more episodes where they actually develop that and make it seem a little bit more make it seem a little bit more likely, as opposed to giving us oh, what was once a father-daughter relationship is now a
Oh yeah.
well, now Ashi is calling Jackie daddy in a different way, but you know.
And also, she never saw her father prior to fighting with Jack. It was always the mother that was there.
Yeah. So I feel like the romance could have been improved, but I'm not against the idea of them doing it. They just have to give me a few episodes where they establish that. Maybe so that way I can see the chemistry a bit more. And I have to give them this. Compared to some other shows, at least Jack and Ashi have chemistry.
Don't even get me started on West Island from the last. I know Tom Law is crazy about that ship, and the ship is okay, but honestly, I find Wes Allen to be kind of bland. I liked Patty way more.
What ship is this?
Wes Allen from The Flash, you know The Flash on CW.
Oh,
Eh.
I don't watch live action.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't watch CW.
not that I'm against it. I'm just really bad at watching live action.
It's
So I've like
CW
not
is
been
really,
keeping
really
up with any of this.
cheesy.
I apologize. It's if you watch
So-
it, good on you. I'm sorry, I can't add to that.
Okay, so
Oh yeah,
I do.
Oh, you go.
Okay, thanks. To just be clear, and I'm good. I'll be really short, but I just to be clear, I'm not completely against a romance at all. I mean, like in general, my main issue with the romance was that what was that they had built like Tom mentioned, they had built this thing up to look like it was a platonic relationship, and I was really excited about because you don't really get very many of those in cartoons. And it was a little disappointing for me to have it. Oh, okay, so it's another romance. That said, they did it really well. These were two consenting adults who and we cared about both characters. It's not as though Ashley were a lampshade. We cared about them. We knew about their past. They were both very story driven, and both had good arcs. And so I mean, there were some things that you can complain about, but in the end, I was happy with the way they dealt with it. And I don't think it was a mistake to have the romance.
And personally, in my opinion, either three things should have been done. One, okay, one more like two things. One, they should have been more episodes. Like if there was like 15 episodes, and if they would have explored the relationship a bit more, like the robots there, then I wouldn't have minded because again, I was never against the ship, and I found it to be cute. I wasn't like a hardcore ship or like when they kissed, I didn't like jump out of my bed and scream, yes, yes. I did that when Rigby and Eileen kissed, but that because they had like 8 seasons to build up their relationship. And when Ashi died, like, I felt bad, but I didn't like burst out crying when she died. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like her as a character, but I've cried way more over a lot of other different character depth. I cried when Pira died. I cried when Nia died. I cried when White from Blood Brigade Battlefront died. Those characters deaths I cried about. Here, I barely even shed a tear. I know that make me sound like a heartless monster, and I do like Ashi, but I just didn't cry. Felt sad, but didn't cry. And
I
again,
would argue that wasn't because of Ashi's character. It was just because of the way they dealt with it. The ending wasn't all that climactic.
oh,
They all
emotional, in my opinion.
the minute they killed the minute they killed Aku, I think we all knew that she was done for. And in fact, I'm sure
Yeah,
some of us were even surprised that she lasted so long. So it's not it's less that I didn't care about Ashi, and more that it really didn't come as a shock.
The
We all knew this was coming, and it came in such a weird, peaceful way, where Jack was sort of okay with her dying, and then the ladybug lands on his finger, and he's looking out on the piece, and it's just such a weird way to deal with the death of a character that was really beloved. That's all. And I feel like
Yeah.
that was what really ruined her death. It made it less sad. I think her death was just not very climactic or surprising.
yeah. This
okay,
is
but back. Oh,
oh
okay, but
I was,
back to that episode. Oh, sorry. Like, I just want. Okay, but like, you say you didn't enjoy the episode which Ashi met all the people that have. Personally, I really enjoyed it, and I think it was also important for Ashi as a character to really get an idea of who Jack was, or at least who Jack used to be before he became all hopeless and stuff. And meeting all the people Jack have had such a positive effect on in their lives, like it served as both Ashi getting to know the real Jack and also like service to the fans of the show who have grown to love all of these side characters and having I said, oh yeah, the blind archer, oh yeah, the woolly, oh my god, the waver. I remember all of these guys.
I agree. No, I think it served its purpose. It's kind of like I agree. I kind of agree
Hey
with you.
guys,
I'm sorry. It does serve a purpose there. But it's just I just don't think that it was necessary to add any other characters, which is what you were describing. You were describing that maybe that part should have been a little bit longer, and I kind of vehemently disagree with that point. But no, I didn't wholly hate that portion. I'm glad that you got something out of it. I just don't feel like it was a very strong portion. And that's just a personal taste type thing.
hey guys, Jinjo. I'm getting the name.
Good job. Good job.
Hey, Jen.
Drinking. Okay. So to culminate in all of this, I really honestly feel like, yes, they needed more episodes because a lot of all 10 episodes at certain points felt rushed. Even just like, okay, Aku's daughter is going out into the world for the first time. We could have used way more of that. That whole deer scene about how they'd never seen the outside world. Could have used a lot more of that. We could have used more episodes to spread things out. It would have been very nice. The problem is we didn't get that, so we kind of have to work with what we got. Personally, I loved Ashi going back and seeing all of the previous characters because at that point, I had caught up to Samurai Jack like one episode prior. So I had to wait the full week like everyone else for the next episode after having watched all past episodes. And seeing those guys again after having just binged watched the whole thing was a little emotional for me just to say, oh my God, they're actually bringing these guys back. I bet that's fantastic for the old Samurai Jack fans. And yeah, my biggest problem with Ashi was the rushed romance between her and Samurai Jack.
Mhm.
Had it been a platonic friendship, I would have been fantastic with that, because try and find any other medium where friendships are the only thing that's maintained between males and females.
Agreed.
We need
Dear
more
God, yes.
we need just platonics between males and females. It would be nice.
Hallelujah. Preach, son, preach.
Yes. So we could have used more episodes if they were planning on a relationship, but again, we didn't get that. We kind of had to work with what we got. So that's the entire point behind that. As far as Samurai Jack's friends all being able from watching Aku to actually getting to Aku's tower, I would like to think he actually took that long trying to decide what kind of sword he wanted to stab Samurai Jack with.
Yes,
like maybe this one, no, it's too pointy. How about this one? No, not pointy enough. This one's too round. 1 hour later.
Yeah, I guess it is plausible that Aku would do something like that.
Then finally, the Guardian plot hole. And it's okay. So I actually screenshotted this on Tumblr when I was binge watching through all them past episodes, and it's like, wait a minute, Samurai Jack actually has that beard. Were they building up to that? No, it seems like they kind of forgot. So if I was to rewrite this whole thing, I would actually take out that spot where they meet up with Aku in the robot place and move it somewhere else. Let's just move it somewhere else entirely. They never touched that robot area. And it just plays through the entirety to the end, except Ashi and Jack finally, you know what, actually, even before that though, Samurai Jack doesn't actually get his old look back when he finds his sword. He just keeps that beard. Because I saw people were upset that they lost Samurai Jack's beard. That was our greatest character loss, by the way, 2017.
The beard
Rest in peace.
will forever be a reminder of Jack's pain and suffering.
And that's probably why they got rid of it. And it was a subtle metaphor, you know, if you spell subtle with the explosions behind it. But I would have kept the beard. I would have maybe put him in that garb that was previously seen, and they do the final like showdown at Aku's place, and they defeat him. And Samurai Jack is all, we finally beat him in the future, but I will never be able to go back to the past to defeat him there. And then the Guardian shows up and is like, "Hey, so you finally look like what this was supposed to look like." And then he sends him back to the past through that time portal.
I like it.
It would have worked out. They would have never touched the Guardian all the way up to the final episode. And then they would have been able to actually show Samurai Jack as he looked in that time portal. Now, I can't exactly say when in previous episodes they had pointed out that the Guardian had defeated Aku, because from the giant robot graveyard, it just looks like Aku sent robots to try and destroy the time portal, and it never worked, no matter how big. So maybe with time, Aku decided he would finally take the time to go and beat the Guardian and this time portal.
Nice pun.
Ta.
I think I said you had a nice pun.
Indeed.
Okay, so guys, before we close up, I'm like looking through the old issues of Samurai Jack, like as you guys were talking about the beard and stuff, and I kind of forgot something, but they actually did do kind of like the arc, like it wasn't the same as it was in the show, but like in the comic, there was a situation in which, well, he didn't lose his sword, but he ended up breaking his sword, so he couldn't use it anymore. And like 50 years didn't pass, but like a month passed, and he did end up going this like rugged build, and like really couldn't help anyone or anything. And I don't remember all the detail, but he ended up seeing those three gods, and after doing a bunch of trials, and after fighting a coup without the sword, like the sword literally comes out of his chest.
Nice.
Nice.
That's metal.
It was inside him all along.
Subtle metaphors.
With explosions.
Exactly.
Okay. Is there any other really big important things that we?
I think that's all. We covered everything that I kind of wanted to cover.
So
Anyone else have anything?
what are everyone's final thoughts as a whole? Like personally, overall, I did enjoy the season, and I'm glad it was told. Was it perfect? No. Was there flaws? Yes, but overall, I definitely enjoyed it, and I'm glad the show got a proper
Ooh.
ending. And I pray to God that Cartoon Network learns from Samurai Jack's success, and if they decide to do any more reboots or revivals, they take a book out of Samurai Jack and maybe other good Cartoon Network shows like Galactic Kids Next Door or Courage the Cowardly Dog could end on Adult Swim.
Okay, on a scale of Powerpuff Girls reboot as a 1, as far as terrible cartoons go, and 10 would be let's say Gravity Falls, which is amazing. The animation is wonderful, the arcs are perfect, the characters are beautiful, and the ending is perfect and great. So
Although
where
the
would
Ziffer
Samurai
didn't
Jack
become
fall on that
canon.
scale?
I'd give Samurai Jack a solid 8.
Yeah, I would give Samurai Jack a 9. It's like really close.
9 for me as well. The big thing is, even if you don't like the ending or the Matod, honestly, the show kind of has the same flaws Gravity Falls had. Gravity Falls is as close to a perfect show as you can get.
Yeah.
But even then, that show still had its flaws. And here you have a similar case. And as much as we're like bitching and moaning about the ending and the forced romance, I can't help but think that this show is still way ahead of so many other cartoons right now. I can't help but give it such a high rating. Even considering the ending.
Agreed.
And isn't that amazing? It's really all about perspective. had this show been trying to go on Adult Swim when cartoons were making their comeback, it wouldn't have been rated nearly as high. But because it's currently in the stewing pot that is the Powerpuff Girls reboot and many other cartoons falling again to, corporate vandalism, let's say, it suddenly
Perfect.
gets a higher rating.
Yep. Okay. Well, no, that was great. I guess that's the end of the stream.
Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else, as always, my name is Tom or Enlightened Robot. Call me whatever you want.
My name is Dauntless. Follow me on Tower and Shining Armor on Tumblr. That's Tower and Shining Armor. The voice made for silent movies.
Howl and Shining. Oh, my name is PC. My name is PC the Unicorn. That's the name of my YouTube channel, my Tumblr, my Twitter, and my DeviantArt. If you want to see videos about me talking about a bunch of cartoons or anything like that, just follow me on my YouTube channel, Tumblr, Twitter, and DeviantArt page.
And I am Jinjo Bites. You can follow me on jbk2k1.tumblr.com for absolutely random, hilarious posts, and I will destroy all your traps.
And one last thing about Jinjo here. He and myself run a blog on Tumblr called AdSnark. It's a share blog between the both of us.
It's hilarious.
We make fun of advertisements all the time. So go ahead and follow that.
In case you've ever felt like, well, gosh, what? There's nothing funny going on in my life. My life is so bland. The sun is shining, but not all that bright. What can I laugh at? Where are the banana peels? Don't worry, they are making fun of ads at this very moment. The humor is out there. You just have to find it by following this blog.
I'll link to all of these links in a comment after the stream. I think we're ready to leave the stream. We will be can you guys stay with me after I cancel the stream, if that's okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to stop the stream in 3, 2, 1.
Bye.